All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the channel. And so it's Saturday night here. Got some time to myself this evening. And so I was sitting there and go, what am I going to do with the first video? And then, sat in silence. And it came to me. Sachi, tell us a story. 2002, Sedona, Arizona. Friends used to ask me to tell them stories. And so, on the journey and the path. Back then, those stories were just regurgitated things. So tonight, I think I'm going to do two, maybe three stories. And we're going to try to keep it tight, all right? And they all relate to meditation path, spiritual path, personal path. However you do it. They're based in fable, and they're also based in real life experiences that I've lived through. And so we're going to go from there. All right. So everyone, thank you very much for all the likes and views on the first intro video. I know the volume was a little low. I have speakers here, so it came out blaring here. And then when I played it back later, I was like, oops, but everybody had already started watching it. I said, we're going to let it go. Imperfectly perfect. Okay. So this is the first one. Okay. So here you go. First story. I've written this one often. It's halfway home. Okay. So, long time ago, back in 2002, met beautiful, incredible woman. I was running around Sedona, Arizona. Just came out of bankruptcy, divorce. Had lost everything in my life. My mom, my family said, go to Sedona, get it out of your system. You know, my father had also passed away all in 1 year, just boom, collapse. At the same time, I was going through I had these tremendous transcendental experiences, and I was learning how to deal with it, okay? So I was up there with friends, and thinking that I had discovered, true enlightenment or whatever, which really, when I'm looking back, it was just a taste, or it was a mindset, or it was borrowed from teachers or whatnot, okay? But so I'm running around Sedona with my friends. We're dirty and filthy. We've been at the creek, drinking beer and having fun and laughing and being pirates and gypsies and just hooligans, always in a friendly, loving way, meditation style, not crazy Animal House drunken style. Although there was days in my journey that I've been part of those kind of moments. Okay, I'm an in the world kind of guy. So my friends say, hey, let's go stop over here. There's this real rich guy that's buying everybody booze, and he's part of a famous family. And so I'm like, no, man, I don't want to go over there. I don't want to go over there. He said, come on. So I have these half creek shorts on, covered in red rock dust. And we go over this place, and there's this guy with a bunch of people around him. He's supposed to be an heir of one of the great American family fortunes. And I look up, and there's a beautiful woman. Gorgeous, black hair, brunette, blue sari, just unbelievable, gorgeous, most beautiful woman I've ever seen for myself. Okay. So the man walks up to me, and instantly I'm like, this guy ain't it, he ain't it. I'm not into it. She makes a few comments, blah blah blah. I'm like, whatever. I leave. A couple nights later, there was an event in the town. And back then, I was really going through the shedding of loss of life that I once knew. And I was also experiencing all these new mindsets and emotions and visions and all kinds of things. This is 2001, excuse me, not 2002, 2001 in Sedona, Arizona. So I used to wear these scarves. Beautiful woman I met when I first moved up there gave them to me, I got them from her, or I bought them at the place she worked, actually. Okay, they were gorgeous, beautiful silk scarves, and I would wear them. So I would always walk. I was doing a walking meditation because my teacher said to me, you need to come back, and I said, no, I'm not coming back. This is the one I had all the transcendental meditations with. And I said, no, man, listen, you're not done, and you got to get it together. And I'm like, listen, and I had read years prior about walking meditation. So I said, well, look, I'm going to do a 1 year walking meditation. And he was like, that's great, that will work. Now, looking back, I understand why I did it and why it would all happen in the reference and premium mind. So I used to walk town with these scars, just out of my marbles, and all those in the meditation world. You realize when you first catch spirit, or you catch this path, you they call it interesting, and that's really code in the meditation, or the new age or spiritual world, is really harsh or really crazy. Okay, interesting is when you say, oh, this is interesting, most people who have some time on their hands go, whoa, they go, or they get real quiet. Okay, because usually interesting means this is really gonna suck, or this is really, really harsh times. But it can also mean other things as well. Okay, but interesting. So going back to, I stayed, and I'll go back to, I used to walk town with scarves. Okay, get back in the story. And everybody knew it. And I was doing this 1 year walking meditation. I'd walk this hill. There's a big hill in Sedona. I walk it every day. Okay? And really what I was doing back then, I was grounding this transcendental meditation. Because in my mind, it felt like you're 4 or 5 feet off the ground. Okay? You're in this ascension mindset. And so I just physically, looking back at it now, was just walking off the pain of the divorce, the business losses, the mistakes made. I was just getting back into my, what they call getting back in your body. It doesn't truly exist because you always are in your body. And now I look at it, it was a separation. Many people in day-to-day life don't understand these stages that meditation practitioners or spiritual practitioners go through, but they're real and they're vibrant. Okay, I wrote about it in my first book, Sachi Song, which is really a beginner's book that will be released here in 2018 on Amazon. Okay, re-released, excuse me. And for everybody who want to know, Soul Moon's Shining has been edited, and that will be re-released. And then I have several more titles that are coming out this year as well. Okay, so that's that. So after all these years, in 2018, we're 17 years down the moment, and I'm talking about 17 years ago. Okay, in transcendental meditations and walks in Sedona, and beautiful women and heirs of family fortunes and whatnot. So I would walk town every day. Every day. It was a 1 year meditation. And I walked through rain, snow, heat, starving, hungover. Didn't matter. I never missed a day. I actually once broke or hairline fractured my ankle. I got into a martial arts thing with a buddy of mine, a great friend of mine now. I just had met him then. And he pulled me, and I fell and really, really jacked up my ankle. But I still did the walk. I think there might have been 1 or 2 days in the first day there. So in 365 days, I say every day is probably 360. So I didn't miss. In the spirit of the meditation, I never missed practice. Only if it was impossible, like I couldn't walk. I was walking 4 to 5 miles a day. And while I was doing that, I was doing mantras and prayers. Okay, and I was also shedding all the pains in the past and the grief. Okay, and it was just the way I was doing it. And I had no idea. I didn't have teachers around me. Everybody was gone, and I thought I'd come to this incredible place of this awakened or enlightened stage, which was not true at the time. Okay, so I got known for it. Walking around town with this, with the scars. So I was sitting one night, and we had a place, and I had a lot of roommates at the time, and we had this idea of commune and whatnot, which didn't work out at that time. It turned out to be just a giant, what we called the warehouse, what we call now the animal house, meditation animal house, and it was a failure, as it should be, because it was way before my time. This is in 2001. So my roommate said, "Hey, listen, there's this get together at this local, it's a restaurant, but back then they would do music events and whatnot, and it was kind of local scene of the family. What's called the family, everybody. Okay. So I was sitting there. I said, okay, I'll go over. I put on like Chinese silk, and I had my beads, and I had bandanas, and always the sunglasses, and my the hair was longer then, whatever. And I'm sitting on a wall. I'm just sitting there outside on this patio during the event. I go there. It's not interesting me. It wasn't my scene. I just come from California, and I was not into, let's go, to bars and socialize and clubbing. I wasn't into any of that. But it was a family gathering, so it was kind of a mix. So as I'm sitting there on this wall, all of a sudden, this gorgeous, drop-dead, beautiful woman that I had seen a few days earlier with the so-called heir, of, one of the great American families, arrived. She showed up, and she was looking all fantastic. But she had a little bit of a copy attitude. She was from big city, and she was kind of like, super hip, and I'm super hot and super hip, and I'm really fabulous and whatnot, right? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna bust this ego down. And that's the way I thought then. I don't think like that anymore. Okay, but I'm like, okay, what's up? And so most of the people that go to Sedona, when you first go there, you go, I'm here because I'm enlightened, and I'm going to come and share my enlightenment with Sedona. That's a real common story. I'll bet you if you ask a majority of the residents, they either have that mindset or they know somebody. They definitely know somebody. There's no way you're getting out of that one. And so you go there thinking you're going to be the great enlightened master of the world, and you're this thing, and so you're there to share your little tidbits that you got from teachers or yoga instructors or whatnot. Okay, some people actually go there to learn. I didn't ever go there to learn. It was more of a place I came to share and hang out and be with people, and people were very kind to me after this devastating loss or crash in my life. While I also had this phenomenal transcendental meditation experiences. Okay, so I'm sitting on the wall. It's kind of cold, and this woman says to me, she goes, tell me a story. I said, nah, I can tell you something. She goes, I'll buy you a drink. She bought me a cognac. I'd never drinking cognac before in my life, and it was kind of cold and whatever. And I said, yeah, okay. So she goes, you're the guy with the scars. She was playing with them. I said, hey man, don't play with my scars, don't play with my beads. And I was kind of throwing it back at her. And so she went and bought me this cognac, and I'm sitting there going, oh, well, you're yogi and like you're worldly. So she goes, yeah. She goes, well, I quit yoga. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, it's not working out. I came up here to study yoga, and it didn't work out for me. Okay? And I said, well, what are you talking about? It didn't work out for you. She goes, well, my teacher's saying this, and my teacher's saying that. My teacher's acting like this, and my teacher's acting like that, and they just don't get me, and they don't know what's going on. And she's like, da 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 da. And I said, oh. I said, I got it right away. I said, it's your ego. I go, you're just like, you don't teach the teacher. The teacher teaches you, and you deal with it. And that's tradition, okay? And so she wasn't too happy about that. And then I said, I'll tell you a story. That'll get it straight. And this was right before we agreed, and she went and got me a cognac. I said, you got to buy me a drink. Got a cognac, came back. All right? So this one is, we're going to call it halfway home. All right? I wrote this to a beautiful, fabulous human being on the planet. I have not spoken to this person in a while, but For some reason tonight, I'm feeling nostalgic to do it. Feeling a little nostalgia here in Southern California, where many of my friends are in Sedona, Arizona, and it's Saturday night, and so we're going to tell a halfway home story. Okay. All right. So, this gorgeous woman with his beautiful curls, gorgeous outfit, really cool, sitting there. I think I gave her my scarf, and I'm sitting up on this wall out on a patio of this Mexican restaurant in Sedona, and there's like event music playing inside, and there's a gathering, and I'm looking at this woman. I have no interest. I'm just like, women, go away. I just got divorced, and after my divorce, I had my girlfriends, and when I first moved to Sedona, I had a lot of I had my connections and whatnot. And I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm just doing my own thing right now. So the last thing I wanted to do was be around about a woman for a while. I was just like, go away. So she's sitting there and she's looking great. She's real smart, but real cocky. Real had this attitude. Look at this chip, right? So she comes back and gives you cognac, and I taste it, and it's like, boom, it's like fire. Never had it before in my life. She's laughing at me for being a yokel, even though I'm born and raised in Southern California. It just was never my beverage. Okay. So I'm sitting talking, and I go, well, you got a major problem. And I said, and I'm going to fix it for you. I said, I'm going to share my enlightenment. Back then, I thought, right? And she said, okay. I go, have you ever heard the story about halfway home? She goes, no. So let me tell you. So tonight I'm going to share a glass of water with all of you. If I was known I was going to do this story, I would have done a cognac. A couple times a month I like to go out and have a beer or a nice drink. Break up disciplines these days. But mainly, I keep hard disciplines, which is meditation every day. But if I'd known I was going to do this story, I would have gone out and grabbed one for everybody. Okay, so I'm sitting here. I'm in Sedona, Arizona. This gorgeous, beautiful woman, curls, much younger than me, super hip boots, hip outfit, just looking all sparkly, wonderful, bit of an attitude, gorgeous, and gorgeous real, everybody, like a real gorgeous, not like costume or like Barbie doll real, but just gorgeous, real gorgeous, right? Just cool as everything. And so she was gonna quit. She goes, I'm going home. I was gonna come up here. I was gonna do this. She was doing a yoga master's series for like 30, 60, 90 days or something like that, a training program, and she was done. She's quitting. She goes, my teachers are horrible. How dare they talk to me like this? How dare they do this? How dare they say anything like this to me? They're really hard. They're horrible on me, and I quit, right? And I said, well, of course you'd quit because you have a massive ego. I go, it's not your teacher's problem. It's yours. And that's when we kind of got into it. I mean, intelligently, and then. I said, I'll tell you a story. You'll fix it. Buys me a drink. We're sitting on the wall. And there we are. Okay? So, here we go. All right, now, here it comes. Halfway home. So I say to her, I go, there's a young woman once. And she's walking through the village or the city. And she lives on the coast. The city's busy and it's bustling, and every day she's doing the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, the same thing. And then one day she says to herself, this doesn't work for me. This isn't my life. This is just, something's got to change. So every day she would walk down and she would look at the sand, she took a deep breath in, she'd look at the sunset, the ocean, get a calm, peace, and then she would go home. Day after day after day after day after day after day, this would happen for months and months and years. Till one day, she said, I can't do it anymore. So she walks out onto the sand, and She'd always seen it before, but she never really realized it. She never really thought about it. She never really took it in. I mean, she'd always looked at it and seen it. But in the distance, there was an island. Okay, Paradise Island. And she looked at it. And she goes, "I wonder what's over there. I wonder what's over in Paradise Island." And she sat there and looked at it. She goes, "Hey, you know, it's not that far. You know, it's really not that far." I go, "Somebody could swim to Paradise Island. You know, it's probably 5, maybe 10, you know, maybe 8, 10 miles." She goes, "I bet you I could swim from right here to Paradise Island. Then my whole life would change." And she looked at it, she had a giggle, and she goes, "No, that's just crazy. It's just crazy." She starts walking away, and then all of a sudden, she realizes, she looks back at the city. She says, "I can't go back to that. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to live, but I just can't go back to what I was doing prior to this moment." And it was that moment where she just had to have a change. There was no way around it. She had to have a change. Okay, so she looks at the city, and then she turns around and she looks at the ocean. The ocean's calm. She was a good swimmer, and she could swim, you know, for hours on end, or for and play. And she goes, "I know I could swim to that island, and if I could get to that island, I know everything would be okay in my life." And then all of a sudden, she closed her eyes in a deep breath, and then bam, the voice said, "Swim, baby, swim." And she looked around with tears in her eyes. She looked at the city, and she just waved. She just jumps into the ocean. Splash. She goes, "Let's just see if I can make it. I'll just swim a little bit. Get it out of my system." So she's swimming 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just going along, just cruising. She stops for a second. She looks back to see where she's at. Beach is not too far away. It's still, you know, pretty close. It's a little bit of a swim, but she's maybe a few hundred yards out. Water's calm. It's easy, easy swim. She goes, "No, I'm going to keep going. I can always go back." Start swimming, start swimming, start swimming, start swimming. She's swimming and she's swimming. She's swimming. Then as she's swimming, all the feelings come up in her, all the past, all everything. But then also a new excitement and aliveness comes to her. She goes, "Yeah, this is my destiny. This is my calling. I got to do this. I got to do this. I want to see what's at Paradise Island." So she puts her head down now, and she just goes for it. She just starts swimming. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. You know, just tearing through the water, just kicking in and tearing it. Just over and over, not even thinking a thought. She's just going for it. She's just swimming. She doesn't know why she's doing it. She doesn't care. She just knows she's swimming, and she's just swimming. Choosh, 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 choosh. Then all of a sudden, after a little while, she's swimming, and she's not stopping. She's going, "You know, I'm getting kind of tired." I go, "You know, this is kind of, you know, I'm getting kind of tired." And she goes, "No, don't quit. I can't quit." And she goes, "Just keep going. Don't look." She looks up ahead, and she sees the island in front of her. She doesn't look back or anything. She just goes, "No, just keep going. I can make it. I can make it." She's swimming, swimming, swoosh, 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 swoosh. She's going through the water, just swoosh, 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 swoosh. And she's tearing through it, okay? And she's tearing through it. She's tearing through it. And then all of a sudden, she's getting a little, you know, she's getting a little tired. She's been out in the water for, you know, over an hour, maybe an hour and a half. And she would take her breaks, which she'd backstroke, and she'd kind of, you know, just take a breath and let her body, you know, relax once in a while. But mainly, she'd just swimming. And she goes, "This is a dream. This is crazy. Maybe I should go back." And she goes, "No, no, no. You got to stick with it. You got to go for it." So then all of a sudden, she just goes, "Okay, one more push. I can get there." So she puts her head down, and she just starts swimming. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Just boom, boom. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. I love swimming. I love swimming. I love swimming. I love my new life. I love my new life. I love my new life. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna make it. This is gonna be paradise. This is gonna be paradise. This is gonna be paradise. Everything's gonna be okay when I get there. Everything's gonna be okay. These are all the thoughts that are going through her head as she's just swimming, just swoosh, 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 just going through. No fear at all. Then all of a sudden she gets there and she goes, oh, I'm getting tired. She goes, no, just push a little more, just push a little more, just push a little more. So she goes about another 15, 20 minutes. And then all of a sudden she stops and she goes, oh my God. She looks up at the island. She goes, it's still a ways away. I mean, she's closer, but she's not there. And she is tired. So she goes, okay, and she treads water. She just goes, okay, I take a break. I think about what I'm going to do. She goes, you know what, this is just crazy. What did I do this for? What did I do this for? This is just nuts. I'm just going crazy. I go, here I am in the middle of the ocean just swimming. I go, this is really dangerous. I go, this is horrible. Just because I was upset about my life and this and that, I start taking off and take a swim to some island that I've never seen before. I don't know anything about. And she's just going like, what did I do? And all the fears and anxieties and all the phobias. And all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh, I gotta go back. I gotta go back. So she turns because realizes that she's just left her whole life behind her and she has swum all this way towards an island of the unknown. She doesn't know what's going to happen. She has no idea what's going to happen, okay? So she's sitting out there, and her will is gone. She doesn't have more. She's tired. She just wants to stop. She goes, I'm done. Okay, I got it out of my system. I go, it was just a dream and whatnot. And so she turns to go back home. Goes back to the city that she came from. And as she turns, she looks at the island one more time. And she goes, okay, bye-bye, island. And it's far away, but it's not, it's still doable. I mean, it's there. She can see it. She can taste it. She can actually only see some boats or some lights of boats just sitting out on like harbor. Because it's getting kind of dusky. It's, it's late afternoon, but it's, it's just right there. She goes, I can make it if I can keep going. But she goes, no, this is crazy. I quit. So she looks, and then she looks back, and then there's the city. And she looks back and goes, oh no. And she goes, wow, that's far away. She realizes she's swum so far. She swam so far that she now turns, and then she looks at the island, and a panic settles into her. And now she's scared because she's going, oh my gosh, what have I done? And she gets fearful, and she looks, and then she looks at the city, and then she looks at the island ahead of her, and she looks at the city, and she realizes she's halfway. So she takes a moment. She floats on her back and she goes, God, guide me, please guide me, please guide me. Spirit, guide me. Self, guide me. Please guide me. I want to live. Please guide me. And so she's halfway between home of where she's come from, and she's halfway to the paradise of where she wants to go. But she's tired. She can't do it anymore. So she realizes she could sit there and drown, or she could go back to what she knew, or she could go forward. As I'm saying this, I take a sip. To my beautiful new friend, who wasn't that time a friend, just gorgeous woman who was quitting yoga. And I said to her, so do you get it? I go, you're halfway home. You're not done. And she goes, whoa. So then it comes. She goes, well, what's the answer to it? The story's in. I go, oh, you want to know the complete story, huh? I said, well, that I can't tell you. That's a master's secret. That's an enlightenment secret. She goes, you've got to tell me. She goes, I got to know. It's this beautiful woman that I'm sitting outside on this patio in Sedona, Arizona in 2001 with. And now she's like right there, asking me, come on, what do I do? What's the ending of the story? I said, well, you know the end of the story, but I can't tell you because that's an enlightened master's secret, and I can never tell you that. She looked at me and she goes, please. I said, all right. I go, I tell you what, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. But you got to promise me you don't tell anybody else. And she goes, what's the outcome? I said, well, here's the key. Swim, baby, swim. And I'll see you on the sands of Paradise Island. "17 years later, the woman I told the story to about halfway home is one of the most phenomenal yoginis and human beings on this planet. And she dared to swim. And that's small Saatchi story here on a Saturday night. And I think we're just going to do one tonight, people, because it ran long. So the moral to the story, you're going to have to find out for yourself. But on the journey, there's no such thing as halfway home. You go for it, you start it, you do it, or you don't. Just like in life, you got to go for it. And sometimes you got to reach down way beyond what you think is possible in yourself. You got to go beyond. You go, I can't take this anymore. I can't do this anymore. It's impossible. And you just got to go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. One stroke at a time, one step at a time, one day at a time, one breath at a time. And if you're lucky, you'll be standing on Paradise Island with a beautiful woman, laughing about having your first cognac in Sedona, Arizona. Peace, everyone. Saatchi, tell us a story.